Now there's officially no hope. Caitlin Clark has announced a lifetime contract in Europe, and she's not coming back. Honestly, I'm torn, happy for her, but sad for what this means for the WNBA as she packed her bags, waved goodbye, and can we really blame her? She's been carrying the entire league on her back. And what did she get in return? Terrible calls from the refs, endless accusations of racism, and let's not forget the laughable paycheck. Oh, and that pathetic deal from Nike, barely even worth mentioning. It's no wonder she's done with the WNBA.
Voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with."
The WNBA basically handed their biggest star a thank you for your service card and a tip jar. Now they can whine, cry, beg her to stay all they want, but she's out. Europe's treating her like the queen. She is, while the WNBA is left with nothing but regret and some awkward deal.
WNBA season ending for many teams, there are already so many players heading overseas to play during the off-season.
So Caitlin Clark, the golden child of the WNBA, went ahead and signed a lifetime contract in Europe. Lifetime. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. That means the WNBA is going to be doomed. And why? Well, because the WNBA, it couldn't seem to find their checkbook. Here's what's wild. Clark has been literally carrying the WNBA on her back, like TV ratings through the roof, jersey sales sold out, the energy she brings to the game unmatched, and yet the league has been out here acting like she's just another face in the crowd. Like, seriously, did they miss the memo that she's basically the future of women's basketball? They didn't want to cause drama in the league by giving her a fat paycheck, so they went with their everything's fair policy. Newsflash, WNBA, when you've got someone like Caitlin Clark, fair goes out the window, you pay her. But nah, they decided to keep it cute and not make waves. And now they're drowning in their own mess.
Even our biggest star in the league, Caitlin Clark, is only making a base salary of around $76,000 or $78,000 for this first season. She signed a 4-year, just over $300,000 rookie salary. So Caitlin's rookie salary is a little over $300,000 for 4 years, and that's all that she's going to make in the WNBA. Now, I feel like there could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy.
Because Caitlin did what any superstar would do. She packed up her bags and said, "See you later." And not just any see you later, but a full-on lifetime contracts with a European club. That's right, she's out there getting paid what she's worth, while the WNBA is probably sitting in a corner somewhere crying into their spreadsheets. The whole thing is just embarrassing. The league was more focused on keeping balance than on keeping Caitlin Clark. And now Europe's the one throwing bags of cash at her like it's going out of style. It's honestly hilarious how this all played out. The WNBA didn't think Clark would actually leave. They probably thought, oh, she loves us. She'll never walk away from the chance to dominate American basketball. Wrong. Clark had been dropping hints left and right that she was frustrated with how the league was paying her, like she's some bench warmer, when she's clearly carrying the whole league on her back. And still nobody took her seriously. Maybe they thought a few extra endorsement deals would keep her happy. Spoiler alert, it didn't.
Is on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie.
The WNBA could have locked her down, made her the face of the league for years to come. But nope, they hesitated. And now Europe is out here, treating her like royalty. The WNBA didn't just lose a player. They lost a marketing dream, a fan favorite, the one player who could have taken them to new heights. But nah, they wanted to keep things fair and balanced. Well, hope that balance is worth it, because now they're watching their biggest star shine from across the Atlantic. And you know what this move is? Going to shake things up in the WNBA in a big way. Other players are watching, and they're thinking, if Caitlin Clark can get a lifetime deal overseas, what am I doing here getting crumbs? If the WNBA doesn't wake up and start paying their stars what they're worth, it's going to be a one-way ticket for a lot of top talent. Why stick around when Europe's throwing money at you like confetti? And at that time, she was also like hands down the face of the league. The WNBA was not as popular as it is now, But guess what? Despite all of that, the WNBA decided to thank her by tossing her a paycheck that's basically pocket change. Like really, they acted like she was just another name on the roster. Yeah, the same Caitlin Clark who is single-handedly making them relevant again. And the disrespect doesn't stop there. Oh no, it gets better. TV ratings skyrocketed when she played. We're talking a 46% bump whenever she is on the court. People who probably didn't even know what a WNBA game looked like were tuning in just to see her ball out. And still the WA's over here like, hey, she's fine, where she is the odd kid. And if you thought the disrespect was limited to her paycheck, buckle up, the WNBA also made sure she wasn't getting too much shine in their marketing campaigns. Yeah, because that makes sense, right? The player who's basically carrying the league should totally be sidelined in favor of keeping things balanced among other players who weren't even coming close to what Clark was doing. Instead of making her the face of the WNBA, they spread the spotlight around trying to keep everyone happy. What they ended up doing was keeping Clark happy. They couldn't handle her being the big dog, so they tried to keep her small, smooth move. Caitlin Clark was assaulted. Yesterday, in her very first playoff game in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's 2024 WNBA season wasn't just a roller coaster. It was one of those rides where the safety bar doesn't quite click in, and you're holding on for dear life the entire time. Let's talk about the chaos, starting with the eye poke heard around the world. So picture this, it's the first round of the playoffs. Clark's out there trying to drag the Indiana Fever to greatness. And just 2 minutes into Game 1 against the Connecticut Sun, Joni Carrington decides to play a little dirty. I'm talking a full-on WWE style jab to the eye. Clark's vision gone. But the ref's crickets. You've got slow motion replays showing Carrington's hand connecting with Clark's face like a bad action movie punch. And still no foul. It's like the refs were too busy planning their post-game snacks to notice that one of the biggest stars in the league just got smacked in the face. What I am upset about, it's like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season, and that wasn't even the worst of it. Throughout the season, it felt like the refs had it out for her, like that May 28th game against the Sparks. 2 flagrant fouls called on Clark, and I swear one of them was for breathing too hard. The fans were like, is this real life? Because it sure didn't look like it. People started wondering if the refs were trying to knock her down a peg. You know, keep the rising star in check before she totally eclipses the vet. Spoiler alert, it wasn't working. The worse the calls got, the more people were tuning in to watch Clark prove them wrong. But still, it was pretty clear that if you were Caitlin Clark, getting any kind of fair call was like winning the lottery, next to impossible. The worst part, the WNBA knew what they were doing. They knew they had a superstar on their hands and still refused to fully embrace it. It's almost like they were scared she'd become too big too fast, like she'd outgrow the league or something. Spoiler alert again, she did, by refusing to acknowledge her impact, by refusing to pay her what she deserved. The WNBA created their own nightmare. They thought they could downplay her importance, keep her in check, and everything would be fine. But Clark wasn't having any of that, and honestly, can you blame her yet? But she needs to be honest, she needs to be on a better team. At the end of the day, Clark wasn't just annoyed about the money though. Let's be real, she had every right to be. It was the constant disrespect, the bad calls, the off-court drama, the league's weird reluctance to fully embrace her as the superstar she clearly was. Clark wasn't going to sit around and let herself be treated like an afterthought when she was out there doing more for the WNBA than half the league combined. So when Europe came knocking with that lifetime contract, it wasn't even a hard decision. The WNBA had already shown her how little they valued her, so why stick around? And now the WNBA is left scrambling, wondering how they let their brightest star slip through their fingers. They didn't just lose a player. They lost the player who was set to define the league's future. But hey, maybe they can make it up with more questionable foul calls and cryptic tweets, because that's clearly working out so well for them.